Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib Friday night open mic. The link's on the right-hand side. I guess we can all speculate on what a scorching turbine is. A special that's meant for our siege hulls. It's coming out next FM. That's part of the BP Next Week that was recently posted, and I guess we'll talk about Pillage and whatnot. So from left to right, I'll introduce everybody. Earth.
Evening, guys. How's it going?
Robert. I'm not sure that he normally has a mic.
I don't think he does.
Okay. Magic Mike.
Yeah, hello everybody. Hope you're taking your pillage correctly.
Okay. And Watchman.
Hi, everyone.
And High Lord.
Hello. How's it going?
No, pretty good. And Father George.
Evening, everybody.
And Ben.
Howdy, y'all.
And this is Hefe.
You sure?
Should we start with Pillage, or what should we start with?
Oh, just a spell, don't we? I suppose.
Yeah. We can talk about the because all we do is speculate on the siege special. So
Yeah, if you want to start with Pillage, then. So
What?
one thing, did you want to start with the Pillage?
yeah.
Okay. So the radioactive resistors, as we know it, on the other day it was only 5, yeah? And we can get 5 more.
We
That's
can get
10.
Well, yeah, we can get 5 more, and we have a limit of 20.
So
Yeah, that
now
was
they
actually started because of the show.
Yeah.
Because we
But
started asking questions to Sally Sue.
Okay,
So,
so they
yeah.
put the limit up to 20, which tells us that there are going to be a few more of these campaigns out there again, where we can pick up some more should we need to, obviously, because the fact that they put the limit to 20, you know.
Yeah, possibly, or they're just future proofing it so they don't have to change things in the future. So they may not have it planned yet. Who knows? Because why do we need 20 of each? I don't know.
Well, it was discussed when we used them up on something, and then I think the next thing that came out, we wanted to use them, and we couldn't. So it's been in discussion for a while, but...
Well, I know when I was talking to Sally Sue about upping the limit of them, she wanted to know what I wanted them, why I wanted them raised. And I told her, we use them on our
Buxton
hydras, and they would go good on the Shrike and the ERADs. And she goes, that's good enough for me.
Awesome.
I'll see what I can do. And next thing you know, the ballistic ones were raised, and then next day the radio ones. So I'm glad they increased them. It's good for the player base.
Yeah, I was about to take mine off of my stuff that I have a couple on. I'm like, I'm not ripping it off of old shit. I want more.
I've never agreed with the limits on anything anyway. If you can go out and win it, you should be able to keep them,
Yeah.
I've never
except
seen
for the fact they want to re-release stuff for players that didn't get it the first time. So if you have 9 of the flagships or whatnot, there's a reason for it, because you might have got it the first time around, but it might be overpowered if you can get it every single time that it's released for players that are trying to catch up in the game and didn't get it the first time. So I agree with the limits as long as they pay attention to them.
Yeah. Yeah, for like a situation like this where we can use them on other fleets, and the fleets they're on are still usable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it more applies to hulls than some of the components, but then there's the big thing with the components for the skirmish cycle flags. They didn't want us to have 4. A lot of people have 4, but it was just to contain some of the things that might be OP if released too widely.
Well, they described this as a catch-up event, so if people can't catch up on it, they should be able to get as many as they bloody well need.
Okay.
Yeah, but there still has to be certain limits. I mean, it's nice that they
Okay,
increased
yeah,
it, and
cool.
it is what it is, and that's what it is.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot available. I think for the players that are caught up that weren't willing to spend in order to get the Shrikes up and running to do the TLC, there's really not a lot for them to do this week, and there's wasn't really a lot in the prize pool that players that were caught up would want. So, yeah, I see extending that limit as the capacity as a good thing across the board. So, but the pillage as a whole, what do you guys think? It's the bacon event again, and I found the easiest way for me is to just go out and hit with fleet with a crew on, and depending on what it is, and hit
I'll be honest.
4 or 5, whatever. Let that repair overnight, then go hit another 4 or 5 of the next one, and then keep on just progressing through it, and then completing the set across a couple of days, not having to worry about jockeying fleets in order to get them repaired.
Yeah, I mean that's the probably the most sensible way of doing it. As a general rule, the event itself is not a bad event. To me, it's just a bit of brain frazzle for me. I'm just fed up of having an event every week, to be honest. So I've hardly participated in it because I just can't be bothered. I've had enough of events. That's all,
I agree.
really.
Yeah.
Can never take a break.
Yeah, I haven't actually started it yet. I mean, I probably will grab a couple little bits out of it because I've seen a couple little things I can use, but nothing is desperately needed. It's just like there's so many things going on, and you feel like you're being torn in so many different directions as well with having real life to deal with. You know what I mean? It's just content, so much content.
Mm-hmm. What does everybody think about the flagship for the Shrike being released 3 weeks after the first time it was released in the raid?
It's a little messed up, but whatever.
To be honest, I couldn't care less, really.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even started to
At
build
the end of
mine
the day,
yet.
you still got to earn it, haven't you? So you
And
still
there's
got to earn it. You're not getting
no
it for free.
tokens. Still no tokens.
Where do you find time to put it in?
Yeah.
I have no problem with it being released. I mean, to get it out there in the player's hands, it's just having time to build it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Again, we still haven't got any. We still haven't had any tokens, for these, and that's what people would need.
I see a positive in it, though. It's the people that don't have either the Eradicators or the Shrike. Well, now they can pick one or the other and then go with that. So for the players that didn't have a chance to pick it up, now they can choose which one they would like. So that's kind of cool.
Well, except for they're going to barely get it done unless they coin
that's
it a
not
lot.
my problem. That's
They're
not my
barely going
problem.
to get it done before the last raid. But
I'm just saying they get a choice. Like us in the first one, we had no choice. It was Eradicator only.
Yeah,
nice.
the irony of that is I still haven't got my Eradicator fleet refitted yet. It will be done for the next raid, like for the 9th, but or whatever it is. When does it start? Is it the 15th or something like that?
13th.
13th, yeah. So yeah, I mean they'll be refitted for that. I've only got a few days left on them, but the point is just they're still not done, and that's just the first fleet, isn't it? Because the refits that's needed,
It's great that the choices are, but do we know how effective they are at all yet? Anybody? Talking about the Shrike?
I haven't seen anybody use a Shrike fleet yet.
That's
I have one
the
fully built,
problem. Yeah.
So it's hard to quantify it without seeing one out on the
Exactly. But it is good to have a choice.
There was a couple people that did get them out and tested, and I don't know. It's a lot of driving. You can get the damage low, but I mean, I don't know what they're going to do to, take that into consideration for the next raid or not.
That's what worries me. It's spend all the time building them, and then they either are not worth it, or Too bad they couldn't have had it sooner.
I'll be honest, this is the first time, purely because I'm just so annoyed with the constant
Burnt out.
burnout of event every week, this, that, 21 million points in the FM, 28 million points, 35 million points, fucking 75 million points, whatever it is, I don't give a fuck. But I'm so fed up of it, I'm not even bothering to build the strike. It's the first time I've not done it in like 10, 12 months.
Yep, same. I'll normally have at least 2 fleets built for the last raid, fully ranked and fitted out.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother
Just
putting it into cut. I just can't be fucking bothered with it. It's the way that things are at the minute with the content overload. I'm just so bored of it. I just don't even want to fucking do the 2 fleets.
Yep.
Both my shipyards have been empty for 3 days, so I'll tell you where I'm at the minute.
Oh, well, I can't say that. Mine is still doing refits, but
I'm just tired of fucking refitting.
I decided not to. I'm just going to go with what I got. Fully armored rather than it was last time. See what happens.
Yeah. New shit to refit is not fun, especially everything's like a day or a day and a half just to put on the new piece, and that's too much, man. Like if you already have that piece on and you swapped it out like from nuke 1 to nuke 3, there should be a reduction in time because it's just still a nuke.
Well, nuke 3s, CL4s, and the Hyper 30s is why.
Same with the CL4. Like if you had CL3 on and you went to put CL4 on, it should only be like another 12 hours. It shouldn't be the whole time, just because you're going from one step to the next.
Sadly, they don't think that way, and we've had no tokens, and so everything's being done the slow way, and that's why there's no. I won't have a strike fleet built, but it's down there. But I do think that they'll punish us for not building the strike fleet by putting targets out there on the map that are strike friendly.
To be honest, I couldn't give a fuck really. I couldn't care less, because at the end of the day, even when they go to map targets, I'll just hit SSRBs. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm refitting is because when they go to map, I don't want to fucking deal with them again. I just want to auto them.
All you got to do, George, is just put a fucking Gatling gun on each one of your fucking eradicators and just auto SSRBs. I won't worry about it. I just can't be bothered with it at the minute. I'm so pissed off with the constant throwing it down your throat all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, this is probably the least I've played this game in the last month since I started playing. Other than when Fallout 4 first came out.
Do you know what? I need to get back into Fallout 4. I was enjoying that.
Oh, I'm playing it right now.
I'm rolling for Crows again. This is the time I do it.
Can't be bothered with that shit either.
Yeah, I went through some crews today. I finally rolled was it like 4 fucking full rolls? I think I got like 3 demos, a couple littler things. So I was happy for I spent like an hour, filled up 4 times.
I tell you what though, I've got but it's rolling so slowly. I'm getting about 6, 7 frames per second. I'm rolling for cruise yet, and I've not long refreshed. I've got harbor acceleration on, and it is really slow.
Are you in your base, and is your base repairing?
Yeah.
Go to map and roll, and it'll speed up.
Roll.
Yeah, can you roll them? I've never tried rolling them outside.
You can't roll them on the map.
Yes, you can.
No, I don't think you can access it, can you?
Well, how you do that? You want to explain? Because I didn't know that.
To roll cruise while you're on the map, you go to the shop button, and then store, then rogue crew, and then just hit whatever button you use to roll with.
Okay, hang on. Let's just accept.
Nice. I'll have to try that out. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll try it now. Hang on. So go out there.
And that'll take care of the lag from being in your base while it's repairing.
Okay, I'm on the map. I go to the command center. I have base relocate, locator, tutorials, and mega hall.
No, you go to
Yeah,
shop.
You
go
go
to
to
the
shop.
shop in the top
Shop, the other side.
Okay.
Store.
button.
Road
Okay.
crews.
Under your
Okay.
Oh,
metal.
yeah. I've got your road crews. Okay, I'll give it a go. Oh, let's see what happens. Right.
Okay, that works. Okay,
There.
look at that. Learn something new every day.
Right,
And
now
that
let's
takes care of the lag from when you're repairing your base.
have a look. Let's see if it speeds up. Yeah. Let's have a look. I'm going to tell you now, it ain't a lot of difference.
It on my system, it makes a big difference.
Do you know what? I think I might just do a refresh again. You know, as you know, I've got a powerful connection and a powerful computer, but it's so the lag is not at my end.
Turn off the hardware accelerator. Maybe that's your problem.
Yeah. So, so what does everybody think about having a special for our siege stuff released so quickly before the second raid? Because normally we have this kind of escalation stuff is released after the first raid in the first FM, where you have 3 weeks or so to incorporate into your fleet. But
we
in
got
this
the
instance,
lowered-
we're getting it right before the raid.
Well, we
I'm
got the lowered
thinking
cannon
that
mount, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
thinking
well,
that it's because of the Forsaken mission cycles have been messed up because of that extra week that we had. So this should have been coming out ready for the next raid, I think.
Well, yeah, I can see what your point is, but the one after the raid was new shit. It was just for the Eradicator. Now you say that I haven't even seen the post, so this one's for the Shrike, I'm guessing.
We don't know. It
We don't
literally
know.
just says new special. Scorcher turbine.
Yeah. Well, I know what I think about it. I think they hope that everyone's desperate and need to refit it, so it's another little money grab.
Okay.
I honestly think they put it in the FM for the sake of, putting new content in the FM. It was probably originally a raid prize.
Maybe, but we sort of got new FM content by the fact that the hydraulic resistor is in there, and when they up the limit, now you have 2 of those, and they're pretty cheap. I think they're 700K.
They're cheaper than the event. Yep.
Well, it's sort of hard
A lot
to compare
cheaper.
event versus whatever, but it's one of the cheaper prizes in the FM at tier 5. So it does give you the ability to get to the chest faster than using one of the existing prizes or newer prizes.
Yeah, that's what I did. I claimed one ballistic just for the hell of it, just to unlock the chest. And then, I'll probably do that like once a week or something just to keep that 700 there. So I don't have to get like 2.5 million or something just to get to the chest.
Well, again, the limit's going to be 20. So
Right.
yeah, it's going to take a while till you fill that up, because you can only get 5 in the pillage event, and then you're going to, I think, so then you can get 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanted to get 2, you can get them there at 700 each, but it's just a faster way to get to tier 5. So
I thought the cost was a lot cheaper in the FM. Hold on.
well, yeah, I never really try to
Well,
do
how do
point
you-
by point
yeah,
from
yeah.
one event to from FM to a event to a raid to bounty. Those points don't really add up.
That's 700K, and in the event, it's 7,000. So, it's about the same. It's
Well,
actually easier.
It depends
In
how
the
much
event.
damage you're taking to each fleet relative to
I give.
the FM and the pillage, isn't it? How long your repair is for earning those points. What actually works out cheaper for you.
Yeah, Aaron's asking what's the next best option after the Devastator cannon for ERADs. I've got that question before, and I've told people to use their hydras, to be honest, as I think that's probably the best solution. If you have hydras built, go ahead and hit the 60s and potentially the 80s if you have the right build, because I think you're sort of wasting your time putting anything else onto these. I don't know. Does anybody else have any other opinions besides that one?
I've got to say that, you know, same as what Hefe said, really. You've got hydras, use hydras if you haven't got the Devastator cannon. Because anything else you put on there is going to be junk, and then you're only going to have to refit it off anyway, and it's going to cost you extra time in the shipyard.
Just wait till you get the Devastator or some Annihilators, and just use Hydras for the next one. Get those prizes, and then put them on, and then you're ready to go for the third one. There you go, done.
Yeah. That's yeah. Because I've seen the question before. I wasn't sure if it was from Aaron or through some other. I think somebody in Discord asked that question, and yeah, hydras seem to be the best way to, go out and get the 8 million points or whatever they are using hydras, and then you can start your refit process. But yeah, spending all that time putting on peak 2s or pack 2s or whatever just seems like a waste of time. Yeah. Well, Aaron, I guess the other question the Cuttlefish brings up: do you have the new launcher? Because you could put the new launcher on there. I'm not sure that's a good great long-term solution. I've seen some people talk about it, but yeah.
No, it's junk because Superman did it to 2 of his holes, and he showed us after the after-hour show last week, and now he's got to spend all that time putting it back because they don't perform like the Shrike or the Hydra. They just don't. The launcher on the ERAD, it works, but it's slow. You don't get fast shockwaves. It's just don't do it.
Okay.
I would go
obviously if you can pick it up in Pillage, pick it up in Pillage. If it's something that you can do.
Yeah. That's another. I forgot because I already got it all that stuff claimed. So yeah, pick it up here.
Yeah, you can pick it up in Pillage. I mean, you've got the Bat Ray fleet from Kixeye. Even if you just hit hundreds.
If you get the top 3 targets, you get the bonus, don't you? So if somebody preps top 3 targets for you,
yeah, you'll get 15 million.
Yeah.
Or 15,000 just from the bonus. Yes.
How much is it to earn it? The weapon.
It's 12,000 for the weapon.
Well, there. If someone preps the 3 of them for you, then you got it, haven't you?
But they would have to have the.
A lot of people don't have mana cores I'm running into that I'm trying to help, but that's not even the point. Just use the bat raids, go hit 3 targets, and then go buy the Raptor.
Or the
Devastator,
yeah.
Whichever. It's as simple as that, really. Everybody's got bat rays, or should have, if they've logged in over Christmas and that. So, just go and hit some of the 100s. Hit one 100, repair, then hit another. Or, if you can hit 3 off the bat and then repair, go for it. Get the Devastator.
Cool. So I don't know. Do we have much? It's sort of a slow week, even though just because. Does anybody have much experience with the TLC?
Before you go there,
I do.
Hello, everyone. By the way,
Hey, Toxic.
G'day, mate.
I've got launchers on my eradicators, and there are 6 launchers per hull, and that gives you a shockwave every 3 to 4 volleys. If you just use 1, so that you can sort of work out if you got 2 or 3, you should get a shockwave almost every shot, if not every shot, then every second. That's the old launcher set that were brought out for the Shrike. I haven't got any new ones yet, so I couldn't say how good or bad they are on the eradicators.
Okay.
I just heard you talking about the launchers before.
Okay, but you're putting them on strikes, right? Is that
No, I've got it on the Eradicator.
He's putting
Oh,
on
okay.
one on each hole though. He's not doing whole holes.
No. I've got the hull. I've got all 6. They're totally set up for launchers, my Eradicators.
Oh wow.
And I just didn't have the armor on last raid, so couldn't really. But it did one Eradicator with 6 launches. Got a shockwave every 3 to 4. It just depends. Sometimes it's 2 3s and then it's a 4. You know. So yeah, and like I said, I haven't got the new one yet, so I don't know how that goes.
I don't think you would want to mix that from I think what George was saying last time. They're 2 different shockwaves and they don't stack together. So you would have to get shockwave stacks in for both of them to shockwave, and that would only defeat the purpose.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious, to maybe do 1 hull, but I don't think you can even get 6. You can only get 5, isn't it?
No, you can get more than that. You get the shards from the co-op, and if you help a bunch of people, you just keep getting shards as long as you're still in the battle at the end. So I mean, yours you can get 5, and then when you help somebody else, you'll get a shard every time. It'll be the Annihilator or the other launcher, and
Okay.
then after 5, you got another print, complete print.
Okay, no, I thought it was you could only get 5. Well, that might work then, yeah. See how many you can get.
Yeah, you get 5 for yourself, and then while you're doing it, you're going to be getting shards as well for your kills, and then go help 4 or 5 more people, and then hope you close one out, and then you'll have 6 maybe. You can put 6 on one hole.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. I've not tried the TLC, so I've got no idea. So
It's not bad.
perfect lead into the TLC there for you, Hefe.
There we go. Yeah, so
Segue.
some people have some experience with the TLC. How's it going?
It's not bad at all. I mean, and there's some damage, and you're going to get messed up, but it's doable. 2 fleets of Eradicators can do it. They don't even have to be perfect fleets. Depending on if you can throw a couple coins on there just to get through it. If you're not a full fleet, you're not 100%. Like I'm like 90%, and I can pretty much do the whole one with somebody else, and we can get through it. And then the second one, I might be able to get that one, and then sometimes the third one, I'm like, I'll burn it to the ground, so I'll help you, but you're going to finish it. And when I get to a sliver of life, I'm dipping to the corner because I still want the print. And you better go out and repair it because I'm helping you because I want that print. So I would do that. So I got a bunch of shards already, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so it's basically how many hours of damage for a shard?
Well, I mean, mine's almost there. Mine's like 90% plus on completion, and like I said, I could help somebody twice, and then on the third one, I can get like halfway through it, and then because I'm not repairing, I'm just helping them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get 3 prints, 3 shards out of that little run with 1 full fleet, yeah, it's burnt to the ground, and I got to repair it after, but that's not bad. They get what they needed. You get some shards. You can get, stack them up.
Okay, so it's about. It sounds like it's about 7 to 8 hours of damage.
I guess I don't know.
Okay,
it's the whole
check it.
fleet. I mean, I could put on better crews if I put on a grease monkey. It would be a lot less, but I'm not wasting that for that.
No. I'm just so people
It's
can
the whole
relate. I'm just
fleet.
trying
It's probably like 22 coins. Once you burn it to the ground from full to dead.
Okay, so you're able to get No, I'm just trying to get the cost benefit for people listening as far as as far as what amount of damage you would expect to take with 2 Eradicator fleets in there. Has anybody seen a lot with Shrike and an Eradicator teaming together as this is intended for?
I have not seen that yet. I would like to, but I have yet to see that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Nope.
Oh,
okay.
Nope, I have not seen any.
Grease monkeys. I didn't even want a grease monkey. It's got 31 now.
I've not even seen a Shrike by itself.
Yeah, because I've looked at the target. I peeked it and looked through. Yeah, it definitely really depends on how much damage the directional turrets are doing. But you do sort of see the design in there as far as why you need the Shrike and the Eradicator, as far as the the buildings that are now on land in this target, as opposed to being water-based buildings previously that surfaced the Shrike. And then you see all the directional turrets aiming at your logical pathway. But if you have the Shrike, it doesn't matter. You know, you can go past them and then hit it from the back. So yeah, it's the target makes sense if you have the Shrikes. That's the part that doesn't make as much sense for me. We've already seen the Shrike included in 2 TLCs, and we've yet to see a skirmish TLC. We have seen the skirmish fleets in the events, but we haven't seen that yet. From what I've heard, we will see a TLC next week that involves your Bat Rays and Razor Tails as your fleet of preference to hit the TLCs.
So can you take Hydras in there or not? Because it says Eradicator and Shrike fleet recommended.
I think they're locked out of that, I think.
So Donnie says recommended, not as a must, and I thought maybe you could take a Hydra in there or not. Like I said, I've not tried it yet, so I've got no idea. I'm just asking a question. So it doesn't stipulate that that's the only 2 fleets that you're allowed to take in.
I originally tried to peek it with a vet, and it wouldn't let me in there. So I'm not sure what the restrictions are, but it does have restrictions, because that was the first time I just wanted to peek it with a vet, so I didn't have something that I could lag into a bunch of damage. So then I took I had a Shrike that was partially built, and I threw that in there because I didn't want to break my Eradicator fleet down, just in case. Sometimes I do that thing where I'm just trying to take pictures of stuff. I'll try to minimize any potential damage from any SOSs or flash crashes or lag or whatever. But yeah, the vet didn't get in, but I didn't.
Can you retreat?
What? Yeah, you can retreat. It's got a 20-minute time limit.
I'll tell you in a minute.
So anybody else have anything much else to say?
You can't take a Hydra in there.
Okay. George, you've been quiet tonight.
Oh.
I have.
The medication?
A little bit of that. A little bit of not feeling well,
Okay. You got anything you want to bring up as a topic?
I mean, nothing yet. I'm waiting to see what this new, the change to the really basic mechanics of the game are going to bring. I have concerns about the defense thing going to something that's arbitrary rather than something that you can follow specificity. I have a problem with the way the splash is going to change. I don't even know why they would touch splash instead of introducing a new mechanic, because that thread goes through everything in the game,
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to ask for problems.
That's a whole big can of worms, man.
Yeah, because unless they do it in such a way where it only progresses from this technology and targets moving forward, it's asking them to go backwards a lot and to rework a lot of targets in order to balance them again. And it seems to be...
We know that's not going to happen, though. That's the problem.
Well, they sort of did that with... Remember when they did the countermeasure thing like this? And they did go through and rework some stuff. I mean, there was still... We had a couple of weeks of glitches, or not glitches, but underperformance, overperformance.
Yeah, but the thing with the countermeasures, the only thing that they had to concentrate on was like current targets in FM, because the older targets were so weak to FM, to CMs, that it didn't really matter. So they only had a couple of things to look at. Splash is far more ingrained in a lot of the. I'd rather have seen them go with something like an advanced splash mechanic or something, just anything else, just a different mechanic, so you don't have to fuck with old shit. How many times they tell us that it's all spaghetti code. And, one thing that they do here might affect stuff that they don't even realize over there. And I mean, I don't even know how many people on the team, other than like, I know one engineer knows that, evade is actually in that calculation somewhere. So what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. And they seem to like to do open heart surgery all the time. Yeah, it is a fascinating one. And it is odd that they've sort of broke it themselves by, not having any splash fall off anymore with the weapons that they release. And that part is weird because there are mechanics in the game that they already have to limit the splash, the damage that splash does at the distance away from the epicenter of wherever the target lands.
Right. And the thing
that exists. And why don't they just play with that?
One of the things that they were saying that they referenced was like the splash fall off and how different things had different splash fall offs. And I'm like, dude, the fix for that is to put it in the print, not change splash. What does that have to do with splash itself?
Well, yeah, because we used to have stuff that had, that would do 35% of the damage at the extent of its splash. And now then they released it like the Needler and the Nail Gun or whatever the other one was.
The Nail Gun.
Rockets. Yeah, the Nailer.
Nailhead,
whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, those were 100% at the edge. And I mean...
They got rid of the whole splash idea when they did that. Because it's no longer splash. It's just like I'm not sure, because if I say area of effect weapon or whatever you want to call it, it just boom, it does this damage across this circular area.
And that's what it is. It's an area effect weapon.
Yeah.
I don't know how DOS would, a DOS crew would work on that one, but either way, I have, I don't know. I have concerns and between, looking at that being changed along with, the weekly just pressure of time and play. And I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't like the black box component. We've talked about this before. I'm not a big fan of the black box component of this new defense rating system where, you get X number of thousands of points. It's not a percentage anymore, but thousands of points. And then we'll sort of figure out how much damage you're taking. And it's going to keep the good fleets good, but it's going to make the bad fleets better. And that's the part that scared me, where it's like, okay, well, it's not some sort of direct translation. You guys are trying to fix bad defensive builds, which might, in the same time, make, push things more towards not completely to a glass cannon type of thing, but closer to it. That you have less reliance on, on defense. It might. It just. It's. I don't trust it at this point either.
See, and that's the thing is, the problem that I have is that I can't check after. How am I supposed to test something then? And how am I supposed to design shit when it's like, there's this big cloud instead of, concrete numbers? I just have,
This is my problem as well. Exactly the same reason, George, why I'm not like that.
Yeah, and we have the battle
make sure you
reports
take the
that'll
right
tell
amount
you.
of damage each time. Is that what they're doing?
They're doing. Say it one more time.
They're trying to make sure that you actually take the right amount of damage in their eyes on every encounter.
Well, and that's the thing. Instead of tuning for fun, they're tuning for damage now.
Yeah.
They're tuning for statistics. They're tuning for metrics. And the thing is again, unless you know how to actually, interpret those metrics within the context of the game itself, you're not going to do a good job of it.
Yeah, and are you talking about the battle reports, right, or no?
No. I'm talking about their metrics, like what they're doing to the game itself. I mean,
I see them pairing this with battle reports, and that part is, it's all fine and good if we could fix things, like, oh, okay, I'm getting this, so I'm going to make this change. But it takes a day to do it per ship, and I got to do it for 5 ships. So now it's 5 days.
Plus, you don't have any concrete numbers to actually work with to know if you're even making a good change.
Yeah, you're not even going to know if it's a significant change in the right direction because you haven't got no basic concrete numbers.
You spend 5 days and you gain 30 seconds of less repair. That's not going to make anybody happy, except for maybe Kixeye.
It's almost like as if they're going to the door where there is a raid and you can get a fully built hull and everybody has to get the same hull and it'll be exactly the same. That's what it sort of looks like to me. They don't want any input from us at all, It's just anything that we do good that they don't like it.
Well, I mean, we've seen that. I mean, I don't know how many times they've corrected for a build that came out that was something that exceeded performance expectations. You can't build outside the box, then they'll just tune against it like within a day. Now it's not even. They used to wait until the next raid. Now they don't even do that.
Well, I think the prime example was when they released the new armors, those armors, and everyone started using the rages and stuff like that. And then it's okay, yeah, we're not going to let you guys think. We're just going to change. We're going to change everything again. That was their mistake. They didn't look back, and everyone built stuff. Whether it be the rages or other ships, or the guard fleet to defend against them, and we got stiffed on that one.
Oh, you're
so
talking about the Conquerors. You're talking about the Conquerors. Those weren't razors. Those were that was for Conqueror stuff. You're talking about that new Tier 8 armor.
Yeah, actually, yeah. People put on rages, yeah, and stuff like that.
Rages. Okay, yeah. I thought you said razors. I'm like, that won't fit.
But no, I mean, I think what he was getting at is that basically we're all end up with cookie cutter builds. There's no room for creativity or thinking outside the box. It's like you build this and it works, or anything else won't.
Well, I mean, like I said, after the first raid of last raid series when I had the res batteries on the fleets, and I was just sitting in those fire fields, and that was changed within a couple of hours. And I'm like, at this point, why don't you just give me the fucking fleet? Why do I even bother trying to design anything at this point? Just give me what the hell you want me to use, and
just post the build that you want me to use on the fucking forum. Saves me having to sit there and think about what I'm going to do, and then
because anything outside,
anyway,
anything outside of that thought, they're gonna quote unquote correct for it. And I mean, part of the whole part of this game was doing that, was coming up with some like outrageous builds or using stuff that was outside of what the expectation was. I mean, that goes all the way back to using the hell of the first subs, the Barracudas. No, the Barracudas in the raids. Remember, we
dummy Spectres in the raids. Yeah,
we dummy the fucking the turrets and have somebody behind us shooting while the turrets were shooting at the damn subs submerged. I mean, it was this has just been this is an ongoing thing since the start of the damn game, and back then at least we could use it for that raid, and that was it. I mean, the hell was it? The one that had spawn the little damn dinky ass drones and shit. What was that?
Typhoon raid.
Yeah, the Typhoon raids. I mean, everyone was building all this crazy shit. I went in there with friggin'
battle cruisers.
Yeah, battle cruisers with a fucking arbiter. I'd fucking just do loop-de-loops around the damn things and kill them with splash. Back when the splash ones, the siege cannons actually shot at the fucking target instead of a dummy fucking round. But
when I say we'll only end up building fleets that they consider works, it works as they want it to, i.e. we'll take enough damage every time, rather than being able to build the fleets where we can get much less damage.
It's almost like it's almost like they conceded that they can't keep up with it with the way we built fleets, so that they don't give us any choice. They can't keep the player base under control, because they always go and do something that they never expected that we could do. So they fix it in other ways. That's what it seems like to me.
We actually take the time to trawl through all the specials, which is obviously something they haven't done. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep having these screw ups. before
I
they
think a
release
lot of it
new
as
stuff.
well is that, you know, a lot of us that have been around for a long time have specials that a lot of the younger players don't have. And when they look at it, they're looking at, say, 80% of the game that have got these set specials, and they're only really looking at those, and some of the more obscure ones that have only been released a couple of times that some of the only the older players have got. That's what screws them up as well, I think.
Look,
But
you know, a really simple fix to all of this for them, instead of making us feel like asses because we keep on trying to do this stuff and we outthink a way outside what the hell they want. Where's Hefe? Because he's gonna love this. Where you at, Hefe? Is he here? Or did you go for a beer?
gone for
I'm
a beer,
here.
I
You
think.
went for
I'm
beer.
here.
You here?
No, I'm
Okay.
here. You can't
Do
hear me?
do you know
Okay.
the easiest? I can now. The easiest way to correct for this, so that we don't have the opportunity to think way outside the box, is, I don't know, not give us 6 fucking special slots. Put the specials that they want on the hulls already, and just give us a couple of special slots. Like, you know, back in the day when we had 3, because there's
Yeah.
not that much, you
Yeah.
know, variability when you only have 3 fucking slots.
Yeah, and that's why we started.
Oh, you
giving,
mean build those specials into the hole itself rather than give the slot?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what we used to have. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
the first inclination was. Oh, now it has. Because you look at some of the old halls, they don't have defenses built in. They don't have all that stuff built into the hall. They don't, you know, and so everything had like 10 or 12 combat speeds, 0 evade, 0 resistances. Didn't have corrosive damage plus X. All that stuff wasn't on the older halls. You were supposed to do that with your specials. And so what they were moving for years doing is, we're going to keep it at 3 specials, but we're going to change this hall. We're going to specialize this hall to do this in order to make it easier for them to manage. Not for us. It was just made it easier for them to manage, because we've gone from with 3 specials at 3 special slots with 50 specials is it's something like,
The combination,
the
don't
numbers
even
might
do
be
the
wrong,
math. Yeah,
like
don't even do the math.
19,000 ramifications. But now you have 300 specials with 6 special slots, and now we're at 300 million ramifications that you could do. And so, yeah, they were going in a direction at one point that they just sort of, once those designers left, they were like, oh, well, fuck this. We'll just, players like special slots, so we'll keep on adding them. And I think they'd learn their lesson, because we've had a pretty good.
I don't
start.
even know. I don't even know that they've learned their lesson. I think what the lesson they learned was that they can't keep up with what we can come up with when we have that much room to play with. And that's the thing is, if you're going to give me that much room to play with, don't keep on trying to fucking limit the sandbox after you've given me the options. Limit the fucking thing that I can modify. I mean, you know?
I mean, we were building holes of over 550% splash. You could splash out a whole base from the outside, virtually, from the guard fleet that's near the front end, because you had so much splash.
I still have 2 sloths that splash from the entrance of the base all the way to the other side wall.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, especially if you drop a molly on and all that, that helps as well. Like the crew.
Molotov maidens.
Molotov maidens.
Yeah, I just always call them mollies.
Dropping a molly has a completely different meaning.
So I always just call them mollies. Yeah, I just call them mollies.
Yeah.
I'll take some molly. You got some molly, John? Hook me up.
See, and now we know who's who. All right.
So another thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was potential changes to the FM.
Yes.
That I don't think is a very good idea.
Did they say that they were changing the FM? Did I miss something?
Yeah. That was in Chris's diary, where we learned his favorite color is green, and he's also a Gemini. But there's going to be a transition of the FM after the next raid cycle. That basically means after a raid cycle, the FM or some part of the FM becomes related to whatever hulls you had in the previous raid cycle, and that lasts for 3 months.
Wait. Hold on. The FM is going to change to
To the raid, the previous raid.
To a
Yeah.
raid cycle target. What the oh
and
boy,
then
oh
after
boy.
that, then it becomes a map target, and then it's it all sounds fine and good if we could trust what. Well, not completely fine and good, but the issue is, do we trust that they're not going to fuck up a transition here and there
Can,
with the importance of the FM?
No, it's even
No.
worse than that. It's
No,
even worse
'cause
than that
I-
because the
the-
targets when we're in in raid are first off half-time repair, and we're looking at what's the running average right now, like 3 hours a target or some shit in damage.
Well,
Hour and a half to 3
well,
hours, which is
I
3
think-
hours to 6 hours of damage regular time.
Mhm.
I don't want to do that for a fucking FM. That they're out of their minds.
Well, I think. Well, you're hitting S. Well, tier 8, whatever they are.
And that's
You're
what
hitting
I
the
expect
high
to
level
hit.
targets.
And that's what I expect to hit.
But we don't see those on the map or in the FM. We see the 80s, so to speak.
Well,
We see the lower levels, and they can adjust those damage levels if they want. But it's the weird part is that if they, they're transitioning every 3 months, and that part is, it's.
Can we just
Do
refer
we
back,
trust?
right?
Do we trust them not to fuck it up every 3 months?
That's not the problem here, FA, right?
Mhm.
The problem
Okay, go
is,
ahead.
right, that originally the reason that they got rid of the garrison cycle was because everybody was fed up because garrison was the FM, yeah, and you'd have a garrison cycle and the FM running consecutively, and then you'd have garrison TLCs as well, so you're all garrisoned out by the end of it. So rather than just doing that for one cycle a month, one cycle a year, now they're going to do that constantly for the entire every fucking cycle. So you're going to have it 6 months instead of 3 months.
yeah, the thing that got me as well.
And exactly
is-
the same thing.
And
You're
if
gonna
we
be
have,
bored out.
and if we keep on with this trend of no tokens and stuff, I mean, how many people are going to have 2 fleets going forward?
Yeah, well, this is it about the longevity as well, because it said, it'll make your fleets last longer. Or didn't? Well, wasn't it originally the fact that we only had to use garrisons for the FM, that your fleet did last longer because you could last for a year or so.
Yeah. This change, if it comes into action, that's it. I'm done. I will fucking not do the FM. I won't. And as soon as I can't compete in PvP, I will be gone. I'll just fucking give up because I'm not doing that. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and somebody keeps on, as far as like even the older hulls, like if you try to compete, the last time they released anything for the Hydra was December at some point, but they keep on pushing the Buck as the secondary hull for this raid cycle, and it doesn't work. I mean, does this work? The Buccaneer and these current raid targets? I know the Hydras work, but do the Bucks work at all?
Well, I suppose if you put some devastator cannons on them, it'll probably work.
Yeah. But that requires you. I'm just saying, people trying to catch up or didn't complete everything. They've gone in a weird, not good direction as far as
the proto sense work far better than the Bucks do in the current cycle.
Yeah, I'm not. I melted down all my proto-sense to get my radioactive resistors back, so I don't even have any. So,
yeah, I've read on the Secret Underground Kick site that they think of making the FM random, so we have to find out what fleet works before we can do it. But
well, that's a possibility, but I think we're going to see the one touch gold purchase happen before that.
It deducts the gold automatically. Just it repairs automatically. See?
Yeah.
What about it's for the res generators?
Yeah. That's again, there was no dates for any of these things, so they'll happen eventually. It might be 10 years from now, 15 years from now, but eventually it'll happen. So I'm sorry to get us off track with that, but
again, it's another thing that nobody's asked for. there's not been a big cry that everyone's going. We need
What
to change.
everybody's asked for with regards to the FM is fucking longevity of the same targets so that people can catch up this and keeping the targets the same to allow people to catch up.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's the cornerstone of the game. It's where you get all of your tech in order to progress up to be able to participate in raids, to do TLCs, to do fucking this, to do that, to get the tech that you need to actually fucking play the game. So what's the point of changing the FM to the previous raid cycle that's just happened? If someone's come in and couldn't hit the fucking raid and hasn't got all the stuff from the raid, they're not going to be able to hit the fucking FM, are they?
Exactly. I mean, if they keep if they only change it, say once every 12 months, the FM, you've got virtually 12 months to get your FM fleet built, and by that time, hopefully, you're ready to start another one if you have to. But at least you've got 12 months out.
In theory, you have 12 months.
Yeah, I know we still have to build
if
our
you
FM.
stop building a raid fleet long enough to build. And if you don't build the raid fleet, you can't do raids. To get
except for that's sort of a null and void at this point because they're talking about using your raid fleets for the FM, so you don't have to build a separate fleet for the FM. It lines up with what's going on in the FM. I mean, in your raid cycle, so it's not like it's out of the loop like the way it currently is.
But if you're a newer player or a returning player, you don't have the current raid stuff.
Exactly, that's what I was getting at.
You need the FM to build the stuff to get where you can do the raid.
Yeah, it's backwards. So the whole point of having the FM is as a cornerstone for the game is that, if you're returning to the game or you're new to the game, it builds up your tech levels, so it progresses you through into being able to do the raids and to progress in the game. Whereas if you're going to then base it on the previous raid cycle, you haven't got the stuff from the previous raid cycle because you've just come back to the game or you've just started, so you can't then hit the FM. It's just all doesn't work in your head. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I've always thought that the FM should be a lot easier than it is. Really,
Well, to be fair, it's fairly easy, right? Because if you
it is for us. It is for us.
No, but if it as a catch up on it, right? Basically, if you start a new base now, you can use marauders, a fleet of marauders in targets, right, and just send them out auto, hitting targets and just repairing them on the map as they go. Just separate single marauders. Within 8 hours of doing that, you can get yourself all of the prints for icebreakers that you need to build them.
So looking at the bigger picture, though, this is really punitive towards the community because there's a couple of things that are going on. One, we're not getting tokens going forward, right? So either you have to have your 2 fleets done by the end of that 1 3-month cycle, or at least one of them. And I mean, given how often we're refitting at this point, I don't even know if that's possible right now. Because once you get that 3rd month, once you get that build, the blueprint for the next cycle, that's what you got to start working on, because there's no tokens, So you're stuck then for the next 3 months with whatever you have, and it's kind of you're making this into a catch-22 situation for the player base, and you're reversing the whole idea of the FM entirely. Instead of it being something where you can go and either catch up or keep up, you are essentially extending the raid cycle. That's it.
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, the way they're doing things now, they should go back to a single haul if they're going to do this. They need to just do one haul. Does anybody disagree with that?
Don't need to do this. The whole point, right? The whole point of it was because everybody was pissed off with the fact that when it come around to the garrison raid cycle, right, you would have the garrison raid cycle, the FM being the same as a garrison raid cycle, both sides of the FM, plus the TLCs would all be the same, yeah? So all you're doing now is doing exactly the same, but you're changing it 4 times a year.
Yeah, but that's fine and all, but that's besides the point. I think what Hefe was trying to say is, regardless of what we say, if they do move forward, yes, I agree, they should go back to one fleet.
Yeah,
You mean one hull does it all? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if their
Well,
abilities can match that. We'll say that.
if they don't want to do that, like they could use, for example, the siege cycle that we're on, or the raid cycle we're on now. Now, in a year's time, we're going to be on the same raid cycle again, correct?
Yeah.
So when we get
much.
that one, we use the old raid cycle that we had a year ago, and it changes into that, so that the fleets you need for your FM is always at least a year old, and you should have it fully built by then, so that they don't use the
but they're not
current
going to do that.
cycle.
They're going to have it with the current. If you read what was said on the post, the targets from the current raid cycle, as soon as the cycle ends, will then become the FM targets, and then after that, when it changes after the next cycle, they'll become map targets.
They literally, it
Titanium.
literally says that they're incorporating the Forsaken mission activity into the event cycle rotations. That's insane.
That's stupid. It's going to be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
So they would set the event targets first appearing in the monthly raids, and then moving down the Forsaken mission on the cycle change when the cycle change is over. So, yeah, you're fucked, especially if you don't get your builds right. That's just going to compound onto the issue even more.
I don't know if anyone's ever mentioned this to them at any stage, but should we tell them we don't like chores? We find some things boring. Because, you know, it's the same old, isn't it? This is what we told them that we get sick and tired of doing, you know?
I mean, I've done all my crap, and I've not switched. I switched the computer off on Sunday night. My app told me that I've been hit, so I switched the computer on and I repaired my base, switched it back off, and today is the first time I'm switching it back on because I just can't be bothered. It's just too much crap to do. And now I've done a little bit of titanium and base part hunting, and I'm already sick of it again. I feel like switching it off already. So it's for me, this isn't working. This is just too much. There's an event every weekend, TLCs and FMs, and it's getting out of hand.
I only started my FM about half an hour before the show started, and because, you know, I've not been on for about a day and a half myself, really. Yeah, just couldn't be asked, you know. Well, I've had other things to do anyway. I've been busy, but the point is, yeah, I haven't got on here, you know. And there's not much in this pillage, fortunately, that I need, and I can probably have that done in an hour, you know. So, you know, I'm not rushing into that. Fortunately, this week don't need much in the FM either, so yeah, it's not so bad.
It's just there's just too much going on. There's too much going on. The changes that they want to make are just really the opposite of what the community wants.
Yeah, no one's asked for any of it, you know.
You know, it's stupid, really, in my opinion, and it's just going to drive players away.
I mean, it used to be one raid a month. Then it went to 2. One was called Bounty. And now we've got there's an event.
It's called the Bacon.
And then after that, it's the XP weekend and whatnot.
Yep. And even though they promised that the bounty wasn't going to turn into a raid type thing. Right.
Right. See, the thing is though, right? Why can't you just go and put all of the PvP stuff into bounty, all of the PvE stuff into the raid, yeah, and leave the FM up how it is, and people who want to play PvP can do the bounty, people who want to do PvE can do the raid, and then you don't have any crossover between the two.
Because there's not
players can play their own fucking game.
You still have to drop some defensive stuff in one of those, like that's not bounty. because
Well,
not
no,
everybody,
the defensive stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Drop it in
Yeah.
the FM. Yeah.
because obviously not everybody wants to hit bases, but people still want to be able to defend to some extent. Yeah, but yeah, I
No,
get where you're
I
coming
agree.
from. I agree where you're coming from. Yeah,
I agree, but just everything to do with PvP for attacking purposes in the bounty, everything else PvE in the raid. You can then choose if you want to do PvP or PvE. All of the stuff to defend PvP wise, put it in the FM, and have that as your overlap between the two.
that's it. And if you
People
can get it,
choose what they want to fucking do.
that's it. If it's in the FM, you can take it if you want it, or if you can get it. It's up to you, isn't it? Then
And then there's, the trouble is that you've got people, you're trying to force people into PvP by putting stuff in bounty to defend the bases, which isn't working because people don't like to be forced into doing something that they don't want to do. I don't want to be forced into doing an event every week because of stuff that's been released into stupid fucking events that don't interest me whatsoever.
Well, an event every week, as well as an FM and stuff like that, and getting your alliance points and other crap you got to do, and we got lives as well, So we've got work, we've got jobs, because if you want to spend money in this game, you need to be working. You know what I mean? If they want people to spend money in this game, those people also have to be having an income from somewhere. So otherwise everyone else is playing for free. So
I mean, how good was it? When you had one raid, it was a raid. It wasn't a raid cycle or whatnot. You have a raid. January, you have a raid. You can use any fleet, almost any fleet you wanted. And then in February, you got your bounty. In March, you got another raid. April, you got another bounty. And then they can run their TLCs and whatever weekends in between, But make it either or, not everything all cramped together.
I don't find it fun at the moment. At times I could find this stressful, just trying to keep up and get everything done in the time limits that we're given. Simply because of demands of life for me, and I'm probably there's thousands of other players in the same situation where they're struggling to just be able to get things done within the time that they need to get them done. So because if your base gets hit, or if you're in an active alliance and you're in a lot of battles and stuff like that, you can end up losing time here and there for certain tasks that you want to do. It can be really hard to keep up sometimes. And that's coming from like a reasonably high level player. So the guys at the bottom, they must be really struggling.
Okay.
Sorry, but yeah, it's sometimes it is very difficult just to try and. There's so much demands on our time. I do find it hard to get everything done.
Well, and we get the decision whether we want to do everything. I mean, I haven't done a TLC in a long time. I can't remember the last time I did a TLC because most of them haven't been aimed at me. I did the base race just to get the turret tokens.
I thought that we'd agreed that we're not going to mention that fucking campaign ever again.
Because you don't have icebreakers, right?
Fuck off.
You could have built them by now.
Got mine
You
to
just got
R10.
tokens.
Hang on, yes. Didn't somebody mention earlier that you can get the icebreaker tokens?
Yeah, you get like six
I
days or
refuse
something.
to rebuild a fucking fleet that I've scrapped. Bollocks to it.
Yeah, but take a look at everything. You don't have to do everything. I'm not doing this freaking TLC that's out now, this duo, whatever
But
it is.
here's
because
the
it's like,
thing.
okay, what's the cost benefit for me?
Here's the thing, man. We don't have to, but we also don't have to play the game. That's the thing is when you play a game for this long, it's just like with everything else. Like if Fallout 4, for example, you get up to like level 60, you expect to be able to do everything, right? It's your choice. That's what you've earned, is that choice. And we don't have that many choices now. It's we get on and you don't have to do the TLC, but you still have to do all those chores, and that's why we don't do the TLCs. I mean, I haven't done shit because frankly, I'm running out of fucks to give real quick on a lot of the stuff. So, yeah, I don't have to do the TLCs. I don't have to do the event. I don't have to do the raids. I don't have to play. I mean,
well, yeah, except for like the TLCs, there's like a lot of them are minutes catch ups. A lot of them, there's people that want to do everything, but you got to look at what your place is in the game. Is what I'm trying to say.
It wasn't even that, dude. And the TLCs traditionally have given out things like tokens, right? So if you were caught up, you actually got something to kind of have playtime, and because it's you don't have that time anymore. We don't even get that now.
Yeah, I mean, the tokens, even if you were kind of caught up, they were good for refits or something like that.
Well, yeah, because they were there for escalation, weren't they? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
now,
I just like to get them so I could
every other fucking week, and you're expected to do it with no tokens.
Well, I mean, I liked even the older stuff. Like, I love getting tokens for old stuff because I get to mess around with it and test stuff. I mean, that's how I got the when we did the monoliths and the FM and stuff. I mean, that was with all tokens, just so we could see what the hell we could do.
That's it. There's been nothing. There's been nothing out there for Hydras, has there? And as we've been saying, which there should have been a long time before now.
Yeah,
so
there was Hydra tokens in the raid. I think you could get 10 days, but there's not been a TLC for Hydra since like some point in mid-December, I think.
Yeah, I remember there was a TLC for Hydras, but it was quite a while ago now. Yeah,
I think there wasn't many Hydra tokens in the raid.
I think there was 10.
There was 10.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
10 regular and 10 blood.
I know the missus picked some up because she actually didn't have a full Hydra fleet built because she came back like just after that raid had gone on, and she built the Bucks for the last one, but didn't get the Hydras done. So like I'd been prepping base parts for her here and there, but she'll have the Eradicators built anyway. So now she used them instead.
Okay. So, Irv, have you gotten off your venom or whatever you wanted to talk about? I'm just trying to get somebody else to throw some ideas out there. I think you've done a good job as far as what your concerns are.
Yeah.
As far as what they've announced moving forward.
Yeah, I'm done with that now.
Okay.
Just making sure. Just making sure everybody kind of like acknowledges the fact that that's coming and how much of a bad idea it is.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how, at least in my opinion, it's how it's executed. I mean, do they add in these targets to the existing targets? Get rid of the 114? I'm not sure who hits the 114. People hit the 111, the 120, and some people hit the 121. But is it a replacement or is it an augmentation? We don't know that at this point based on what's been posted.
Sounded like a replacement, but
it does sound like a replacement, a full-blown replacement, and that's not on. Not having that at all.
I'll be a bigger fan of an augmentation over a replacement. I could see that working, where you kept the existing targets, maybe got rid of the one, like the 114, and isn't there a 105? There's some targets out there that I'm like, I've never even hit them.
Yeah. Well, 114 is good for up and coming dragon builders because that's like the first high level prize, and you don't need a full fleet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if they want to add in some, raid type cycle stuff, I could see that as being something that the player base wouldn't completely reject if they saw it done correctly.
Yeah, but you don't need a 120 and a 121, so one of those fuckers can go.
Okay.
Well, what I've noticed with Kixeye, though, is when they replace targets like that, they replace ones everyone hits, not the ones everyone avoids.
Of course. Wouldn't be Kixeye otherwise, would it?
I mean, so it would be a bad thing to do this, I think.
It'd have to be a crossover because if my dragons don't work anymore, I'm going to be super pissed because I've been using them for like a year. And it's not, I don't have the strikes built. You know, my eradicators are almost done, but they're not. And if it switches over, then I got to do 6 months of the eradicators. I mean, it's kind of nice to have go to do the FM, even though it's a pain in the ass. But you know, using a different fleet, it's a different approach. I mean, it's the same after you keep hitting them, but it's still different. If I got to use the eradicator for 6 months, it just gets boring. Like with the fangs, it was like in every TLC for a year. After a while, I'm just like, I don't want to even see fucking fangs anymore.
Well, and then my big fear is that we're going to get a haul like the Manicore, and we're asked to hit, you know, for 3 or 4 months in the raid, and then we got to use the Manicore to do the FM. You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you know, because I don't even do, you know, if TLC says Manicores, I'm like, I don't even.
That's it. Normally the TLCs afterwards will be like the previous raid hole, won't they? Because at the moment we're using bat rays, yeah. You know, to do these and stuff. You know,
this is different than a TLC. We have
I know.
TLC
But we kind of get TLCs that work with last month's raid holes and stuff like that. I mean, that's generally been the rule of thumb, you know, for the next few months. You know? During the next raid cycle, a lot of the TLCs will be from the last raid cycle, yeah. But if we're also using the same ones for the weekly FM, you know, it's like, again, it's going to be sort of, you're going to get so bored driving the same, hitting similar targets everywhere you go. You're just hitting the same thing, you know.
Yeah,
that's the point that I was making. That you know, the whole reason that they dropped the garrison cycle out was because people were getting garrison burnout because they were doing the FM, a garrison raid cycle, and then all of the TLCs were associated with garrison, so you were just completely bombarded with garrison all of the time. So they changed it because there was so many complaints about it. But now what they're suggesting is doing exactly the same, but then changing it 4 times a year, so that you're going to get bombarded 4 times a year instead of just once.
Yeah. So if you're not caught up in the raid, let's say you take, you know, let's say you have you're in a work release program for a couple of months. You know, now you're screwed up on the raid and the FM. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you are caught up with it, you're getting content overload again because it's going to be all the same, isn't it? You've just gone through a raid cycle, then all of your FM is going to be like that, and all of your TLCs is going to be the same. So, for example, Siege. So you're going to come out of a Siege cycle, have a Siege FM, and all the TLCs are going to be Siege as well. So it's just going to be Siege for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And I personally, I'm curious as far as on the Kixeye side, what the resource investment is for things like the refactor, this defense rating system, this splash rework, refactor, or whatever we're seeing, relative to something like, why don't we make more targets? You know, within the same thing, not have to make them harder, just make different ones. Just so the players have more variety that are more PvE oriented. I don't know the answer to that, but it seems like
I would like, to be honest, right? Old school raid targets from like a couple of years ago, just even as low level targets in the FM, just spawn some different ones, just random ones, but really old ones, just as kind of like, just have those extra little bits and pieces, so you've got a little bit of variety in there. Even if they only like pay out 80,000 points or 20,000 points or anything really, but like having like the old Typhoon targets or stuff like that, stuff that's a bit fun, not just monotonous, boring grind all the time.
I tell you what I enjoyed years ago, and it was 2 players could go in it. Do you remember like Snowfall and stuff like that? Where 2 players could go in at the same time in them sort of targets, and that way you could sort of help in an FM even, You know, because at the moment, no one can actually help anyone in an FM, can they? You know, you can't. Well, let's just sit. You know, you could do in the past. You could sit behind.
You could for a while, but then they put an end to that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a couple of countermeasure holes, soaking everything up, and they could be firing behind you. You know what I mean? So you could do that for a while, but I mean, now it's really difficult to actually help anyone in an FM because they only get the points that they earn. You know, so.
Well, there was also the point in time when which one was it, where you could, all the points were concentrated in the center of
111.
Yeah, the 111. All the points were concentrated in the center, so you could prep it for other people. It wasn't a co-op experience, but it was a prep. You know, it was preppable because there really wasn't much left. As long as you could drive well.
It was like it was 2 buildings, wasn't it? For like 100K.
And you got like 80% of the points from those 2 buildings.
Or if they really want to have all these bloody changes in the FM, then make it a 4-pronged thing where you can either have it in a siege format or have it in a skirmish format or whatever, but it with the same prizes. So if you got a good siege fleet, well, you do the siege one. If you got a good assault fleet, well, do the assault one. It all comes to the same thing, but it's a variety, so you can attack different things, you know, rather than just having the one way that you have to do it with the one fleet. Give people a choice again, you know.
Well, I think, all right, going off on a slight different tangent, but is having the FM as a little relay tower outside your base, then you're not going to have targets everywhere. You know, you can start it by hitting.
I've been saying this for ages. With all of your troll shit should just go through your tower outside your base, your campaign tower. It would reduce all the lag on the map and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, because you don't need all them on there, do you? Because you can just pick for the relay tower what you want to hit. You know.
And make it co-op again. Just imagine like all the people that would help their lower alliance mates. Yep. And spend a coin or two by helping, was the fleet's going to take damage.
Yeah, so if your local Billy starts the FM, you could come in and help him as well. You know, prep some of it out for him, and you know, I mean, because that's the whole point. That's what keeps players playing, is that, you know, the higher levels go in and help them or do what they can do and bring them up to the level. Because originally the FM was intended as a catch-up sort of thing, and now we've got a catch-up event because the FM isn't working all the time as a catch-up event. You know, so yeah, I think the relay tower is a much better idea for the FM if they were going to do it. You know, select it from there, and it's just unclutters the map, and then we wouldn't get as much lag as we've been getting.
But does map lag really impact your game that much?
I
would rather have them fix the locator.
Well, I mean, we don't have to worry about locators if it's outside our base.
Yeah. But, I mean, if there's another reason why they do this, but the locator has been broken for, what, like close to a year?
Yeah. Has it ever been fixed? Did it ever work correctly?
No, it did work well at one point in time, and then they act like they can't go back to that. I don't know why.
They got it listed in order now.
Yeah, but they're still, it doesn't, sort tab would work fine, but yeah, it's not like it's finding the closest target for you.
I was told in Discord it's not broken, it locates.
Yeah,
it locates. That's a locator.
Yeah,
I don't know how much.
It's a technicality. It's a lot of, we quibble over.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much priority they're putting on that, but I totally agree with you, Hefe.
I got a point on that topic right there. It's not working properly because it should locate from where you are. So say if, I'm based out of 2, but if I went to 18 and I started looking for targets and I hit locator, I don't want to see shit in 2. I want to see shit in 18.
I feel the locators locate closest to your base.
Closest to you? No, not even your base, your fleet. Whatever fleet you're clicked on, it should be locating for that fleet.
Yeah. Yeah, it should. That's it. That should be a centre of its search wherever your fleet is. But as I said, all these points that we're arguing about wouldn't need to be done. The locator stuff. If it was just everything was, or most of it's done from a relay tower outside your base, you wouldn't have to go hunting sector to sector because you just click on it and it's there. You know, and then you just drop down menu, like, and whichever level target you've got the fleet to hit.
And let people
I
join
just
in.
selected the wrong fleet and hit somebody's guard on their base with my FM fleet. Bollocks.
Ouch. But I don't know about putting the FM in the relay tower at your base. It just sounds like it might be too complicated for Kixeye to pull off.
Oh, I don't think so. They've done raids like that in the past. You know, we had a series of raids like that where they had everything in there. You know, everything was done from a relay tower. So I'm sure they can do the FM. And because that doesn't change, I mean, if the FM doesn't change for like a year, or all right, now they change it every few months, but they just drop those into a relay tower. You know,
We got aren't the what's normally what else is normally in the not the TLCs? What else comes in the towers? What used to come in the towers? The dailies.
yeah, the dailies and stuff. Yeah,
So that works. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they could do it.
that's it.
You mean your base tower? You're not talking about that. You said relay tower. For a second, you got me confused. You mean the tower that you pop up right outside your base? That tower?
That's what. I mean. Yeah, the little tower there. You know, if you activate, you say, okay, you go to like what is normally your campaigns, yeah, but it'll be the FM. Let's call the FM campaign, yeah. You know, so you activate that, and then the little relay. I call it a relay tower. Little tower pops up outside your base, and everything's in there that you want to do for the FM, and that way the whole map doesn't get like polluted with thousands and thousands of targets that we don't need that just had lag, and we haven't got to worry about the search function not working because it's outside our base.
Yeah, and they've put the TLCs and everything is in there, so I'm sure they can do it.
Just get rid of the gantry and make it that. Gantry serves no purpose.
No, we
The
could get rid of those
gantry
things,
does. You just have to have the gantry and a blank mega on the water, and then you can start making tokens. Do not take away that gantry.
Yeah, but they don't have to have the physical appearance of the gantry on the water.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, once you've built the mega, the gantry should disappear really because it's got no function anymore, is it? Once you
Right,
built
it's just taking up map space.
Well, originally we were supposed to get a what was it? A Reaver or a Draconian Mega Hull or something like that?
They've given up on
I know, but that's why it wouldn't go away. So that you could build more of the Mega Hulls, but you
can still do it from within your base. I mean, they don't have to have that physical structure on the water.
It'd be cool if they make a second mega, like a big old, like a sail ship, with the big masts on it up top. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, but the guy who's the mega was his baby. He's gone and he's long gone now. So,
Yeah, it's GD Raikkonen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Raikkonen. Yeah, he the megas was his baby, but I don't think anyone else is playing with that idea anymore. So, really, that's long gone. I don't think they're thinking about like any other megas at all.
Well, they're trying to kill that off anyway. There's only two, and you only got 2 Nexus per world now, so you don't really. They're really no good no more. I mean, no one who's going to compete. It's just too expensive. When there was 5, you get a half a chance. But now it's no, just the way it goes.
Yeah,
their loss.
Yeah, I must admit, I've never really took my mega seriously anyway. It's like, it's just there. It was originally built just to allow me to get the XP tokens.
Yeah, mine was just finished as they went down to the two.
Saying that,
Nexus.
I've just realised I've got to start another one because this new hull's coming out, isn't it? In the next raid. We've got a new attacking hull coming out, haven't we?
Yeah, the Basilisk.
Yeah, Basilisk, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I've got enough tokens to get one All right, cooked or fully ranked. On the presumption I'll win it, you know what I mean? But hopefully I will. You know what I mean?
If I'm not too pissed off not to play it, or too burned out from doing whatever. Yeah.
What are you doing that's getting you burnt out?
Well, you gotta get titanium. If you want to roll some crews, you need uranium. If you want to build stuff, you need titanium and base parts. You need to do the FM. You need to do the TLC. Or you should do the TLC to get at least a couple of the Hyper 30s and the what do you call the siege thingies. There's a few things that I wouldn't mind, because I've only got a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always something that you have to do, and then you do want to have some rank on your fleet, so you need to do that event as well. And then the bounty comes around again, where there is something in there that you probably want, so you need to do that. And it just, after a while, you just get burned out, and you just don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sitting on 15 Hyper 30s as it stands. So
okay, well, that's cool. No, I was asking Toxic that question, not that I was disagreeing with him, but that I just wanted him to put the list out in case Kickside people listen later, as far as what players find to be a drag on their game, so to speak.
Well, for starters, the sector should always be orange. There should be no doing a chore, and because the 100s are easy to find, but the 200s are impossible, and they used to be everywhere. So we got to go find the 200s just to unlock the SSRBs, just so we can get in there. Just have it always orange and eliminate that issue. That's a simple fix.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, High Lord, I would recommend bookmarking the center relay in your base, in your sector, and look there first. Don't look anywhere else. Just
no, I do. But sometimes there's only 2 there, and you need 3, and then you got to go find another one. Ever since Refactor, there's not that many 200s. Before they were everywhere. Now there's not.
I have luck finding them at the center and the north.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few other sectors bookmarked where they normally spawn, like slightly quieter sectors where I can normally find them. But I mean, you shouldn't. It's a chore to do a chore. I mean, it's an annoying thing. We do the chore for free, yeah, no damage. But the point is, it's a chore to do a chore.
It's a chore to do a chore, yeah, exactly.
See, and I'm too lazy to do that, so I just don't get it. So I just switch the computer off. It's not orange, and I don't have any uranium. Well, just don't do that. Whatever I wanted to do with the uranium, that's as simple as that. And my fleet, well, I've got the kicks given bat rays, and they take half-hour damage on auto in the SSRB. And if I need to roll a lot of crews or whatnot, then I'll coin repair it every now and then. But why would I? Why would I? If I can't get into it, I don't need to repair it. So Kick's not going to get the coin.
Even in your case, you could hit it 3 times, and an hour and a half, you can suffer that, can't you? I mean, cross the mate. How long does it take to roll the crews in anyway? If you're going to roll 456k of uranium, I'll tell you what, it takes a fair while, especially if it's rolling slowly. If it starts lagging, that is.
Well, I rolled 4 times and I got a grease monkey just before. But sometimes I roll 4 or 5 warehouses and I don't get anything, So and 4 or 5 warehouses, that's that takes a while to do. It's boring as hell. It's another chore,
But so a couple of things is if they just kept the sector open, because I don't see any point in these 200s now. I don't see why we need to do a chore. Moving the FM into the little towers. Obviously via the campaign towers outside the base would unclutter the map, would stop a lot of the search function issues that we're having. We could just find stuff outside, because it's there where we want it. Yeah, that would be a couple of improvements for the game, and I think that would help the game play as well.
It's strange. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the fastest connection. I haven't got the best computer. But I hardly ever have problem with lag. I only really had problem with lag like a couple of months ago, where I couldn't even move the screen around, and nothing will work at all. But usually I'm not that bad with lag, even though the person right next to me may have, totally lagged out. It's just,
Yeah, that's it.
it's
I'll hear that.
strange.
I'll hear people going, "Oh, this is playing well," and I'm thinking, "Not for me." And then another day, it's playing well for me, and that same person is saying that they're getting lagged now. So I don't know. It's as if like it sort of moves around the place. They're in the same sector, same alliance, sort of thing, and you're thinking, I'm not gonna say a bloody word because it's working okay at the moment.
I think Kix has got a user ID hat, and whatever number they pull out, he's going to get lag for the next week or so.
Well, if they eventually get this HTML crossover done, they eventually recode it for that, which is saying by the end of the year, that hopefully will stop a lot of that lag, because a lot of it is the limitation in how much memory space we can have using Flash, and it only allows a certain amount, even though you can go unlimited. So there's players like myself that have got 64 gigabytes of RAM or more in their computers. Other guys are only running with about 8 or less. So, but Flash doesn't allow you to use all of that. It's got its own limitations, so that's the problem. But the HTML, we shouldn't have that problem. HTML5. So that should clear that up. But it's a long way down the road yet.
Yeah, that's if the game's still up, and people keep saying it, but there's a few people that I know that have left the game in the last couple of months. So people aren't getting more; they're getting less, and it's all because of what they're doing. All these all these silly things that players don't want, but Kix thinks that yes, we need to have that.
Well, that's it. They start making decisions that nobody's asked for, that doesn't improve the game. When we can offer suggestions to say, look, this will make it better for everybody. It doesn't cost you anything. You're not losing any money. You know what I mean? It just makes the game tidier for everybody else. It makes it nicer to do, or a more pleasant experience. Because we can find stuff, or the place is not cluttered. But do they listen to that? No, probably not, because they're too busy working on something we didn't want. They're making executive decisions up there. Oh, this is a good idea, and then it gets thrown back at us, and we're thinking, no, it bloody isn't. But by that time, they're already sort of so far into it. By the time we get to hear about anything, normally they're that far into it. It's like, this is what's going to happen. Not, do you think this would be a good idea? There's never any communication in that respect. It's like, this is what's coming, rather than like, we've got a couple of ideas. Which one of these would you prefer? Then that'd be nice, wouldn't it? At least to have an option,
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? We've been going on for an hour and 45. I think everybody, Mike, you haven't said much. Magic Mike. If you're still there.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit salty about the way things are going. I just don't like it.
Okay.
So,
any more details, or okay? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, these changes that they're doing, I personally don't quite understand the totality of them. The constant pressure to, or shortened. Well, I'm miffed about the lack of tokens as well, and the inability to be able to get them into the game somewhere. That's all things that have been said. Extending the amount of time you have to either coin or concentrate on getting your build done to be halfway competitive in a raid. The potential that you're going to have the two fleets still, after all these months that we've been telling them that 2 fleets isn't what the community wants. They just turn their head the other way. The guaranteed damage that every time you go into a target, you're going to get nailed one way or the other. And in some cases, it doesn't matter if you drive good, you don't drive good, you got a great build, you don't have a great build. You're coming out of there with, the prescribed amount of damage regardless. All these things are starting to add up and really making me salty, I guess, is for lack of a better term. And it's just it's wearing on me, quite honestly. And I don't know that it's fun. It's just not fun anymore. It is definitely like a job, and it's all about community right now, or it'd be gone.
Yeah.
So you asked.
No, I did ask. Soggy Mango says, "Get a grip. They make decisions to make money." And
That's true.
Yeah,
That's what you're in business for.
yeah. But what I'm stating is like how you make your money.
Exactly.
And some of the things I've been doing on the show recently and on Discord is trying to understand. And we're not going to get into this tonight. I did a show on it and whatnot. Like, why are people willing to coin? What are they willing to coin? Because I feel like they've gone outside of the box of relative to the player base on this. So yeah, we realize they're doing things to make people coin, but are they trying to make the right people coin for the right reasons? And I put together a list of 10 rankings of 10 different categories of coiners, from I like to watch money burn to at the bottom is can't afford to coin, and so there's a lot of people in between, but they've done some things recently that I think has upset the player base in a lot of ways. And so that's why I try to ask questions, try to get the player, everybody on the panel and whatnot engaged into like a conversation of not why why you don't want to coin is a good conversation, but why you do want to coin, I think they want to hear that more. That's more like, okay, well, I'm willing to coin for this, I'm willing to coin for that, as opposed to I'm not coining because everything's fucked up. As it's weird because this game it feels like it's in a transition, because I normally wouldn't have this conversation. But yeah.
Can I jump back in again?
Sure, go ahead.
I have not coined much in the last year to year and a half. And prior to that, I was good for something every month. Mm-hmm. But when they started all this manipulation of I would coin basically to get a build that I probably got from somebody, built right and on time. So I would buy tokens every time they were at a halfway decent discount. I always bought tokens. I always bought the tail end of a build so that I wouldn't sleep on an empty shipyard, things like that. Mm-hmm. I would coin if I was doing a TLC or a target that I was close to getting it done, but just didn't quite have enough there, I would coin that. I don't do that anymore. I don't do it anymore. The coins I spend now are usually by mistake because I hit the button too fast or the wrong button. I do slow repairs now.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And
okay.
And or I'll do the mic thing, which is, if people don't know, I pick the targets apart. I'll take a little bit, go out, repair in the base, go back and hit it again. People don't like that people don't like that probably as a way to do it. Not that I'm doing it, but I do that because I have the time and I don't want to buy any coins. So the last time I put money in the game, honestly, was last November. I don't intend to. And when what I have is gone, I have a decision to make. And it's like, that's where they've taken me. And they've taken the fun that I used to have and thrown it away. It used to be a good time to be able to do these raids for little to none because you spent up front. Mm-hmm. And or the FMs I never spent on FMs. I mean, yeah, I have done the misclicks, but I never wantingly spend on
intentionally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you understand what I'm saying. they've made it that way for me. It's not that I've chosen, well, I have chosen it, but I've chosen that because of what they're doing. So give me what we had 2 years ago, and they'd be getting regular payments out of me. But they've taken it away, and I'm just not happy with that. And quite honestly, at a decision point.
Okay, so you at the, just so we get this square, you were okay with coining at the point where you felt like you were spending your money on good, not on good. Like I was making an quote unquote investment in order to move forward in the game, and I'm willing to pay this one lump sum as opposed to 3 coins for every time you hit a target. Is that sort of what you're saying? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And now it's like you're going to spend 3 weeks to build one lousy ship. 3 weeks, 17 days to build one ship. If you don't coin it, and then once you get all done with that, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to go ahead and use that darn thing. So the only way to get it done early or on time or whatever is to buy tokens and or coin it, and then go into the target and get your butt kicked so that you have to pay to repair it so that you can continue playing. I don't like the pay me now, pay me later. I just don't like that. Yeah. And I don't expect to play the whole game for free. I don't mind contributing, but not the current direction.
Yeah, we've seen huge changes in the games as far as the raids. If you did things smart, you could hit the raid targets without it. Smart and a good driver, you could hit the raid targets for no damage. This has completely gone away in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of like those days where
exactly.
Yeah.
Even in the last month's cycle, because they just did that build time reduction, mostly focusing on the armors and a lot of other things, the build time for each ship dropped 4 to 5 days from what we have now. And there wasn't necessary escalation tech. There were side grades that you could do, and some people did that. But the biggest thing is that tokens were available. I don't really want to say in abundance, but if you had a good assault fleet and could do those TLCs, you could get a lot of tokens. And sometimes you had to coin, but it felt like getting a discount still because you spent it was a lot to repair those ships. 15, 20 coins to repair the whole set. But you still got a day or 2 days token, which is less than half off, and you were able to get that through skillful play. There's no skillful play anymore. You can't do it. There haven't been, I think, any ship-specific tokens since the start of this raid cycle. The Siege have been rewards for the top places in leaderboards or whatever, but at that point, I think a lot of players are spending more than those tokens are worth to get the tokens, and they should just coin the builds instead. There have been escalation upgrades that is seen as necessary because of how ridiculously the targets are tuned. Between the drying up of tokens and every ship build being 5 days longer, in addition to having escalation tech, I don't think that I can do everything in the game because I'm a free player. So I make choices and I make cuts. With the Conquest Yard, that's a bit different now. But I always figured I could stay on top of PvE if I played smart and played well and no coins. And I don't feel that way anymore. I had to hit 60s the last trade with 4 nearly done ships because the A sets were tuned like S targets and they had to reduce the difficulty of literally every single target in that first trade. They were fucking idiots. They fucked up. They were wrong horribly. And I want to know what CM Chris said in his diary when he's like, oh, there was high participation. Did that mean you hit a lot of targets? Did that mean a lot of people hit a target and quit? Did people blitz a lot? We don't know what that means. So that is useless unless we're given the metrics behind it. So even the positive spin is questionable because they didn't tell us shit. And it's really hard to keep up with the game even now, even one narrow aspect, because they've tuned it and just ramped up the difficulty so much. It's not about skill anymore. You have to pay. And I know Hefe has mentioned at least $100 for the first raid. but they want strikes from us. Who the fucking build strikes? Who the fucking do that? You need to spend multiple hundreds of dollars to have strikes ready. If it's anywhere near like the build times of the other ships,
Right.
You can't do this anymore. You can't play this game well for no coins or on a budget. They just tuned everything to the point of ridiculousness. And even if at the end of the last raid, maybe some stuff was reasonable, people stopped by then. Either they quit playing or they adjusted their desired point total and they got what they wanted and they stopped. Putting my stuff on Wednesday is a fucking joke, by the way. Thanks a fucking lot. I work for a living. Did that whole thing where we want the team in Australia on. Yeah, to fix all the fuck ups you guys made. Like, is that the part? Do we have these poor Aussies working super hard to fix the difficulty that you guys like didn't do the math on? Is this where, you know? Oh, by the way, I love how they said they would reduce. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic. I love how they said they'd reduce obfuscation, make things more clear for the players. We have a fucking defense rating number that doesn't mean shit. At least we could calculate the other thing. We can't calculate this. I have 5,000 ballistic defense rating. What the fuck does that mean? Is 5,000 to 6,000 equally as good as 1,000 to 2,000? Is it linear? Is it exponential? Are there diminishing returns? Like, we don't know anything about that. And then all of this stuff. I think they're still in that part where they were making decisions based on their thoughts that battle pirates had 1 to 2 years of life left. I think we're still in that phase of thinking, because this seems like what they would do. They would make everything more difficult. They would issue coin. They would try to get coin out of players for even the simplest of things, not the FM, because they haven't introduced a new FM cycle yet. But just there's an event every weekend. There's a leaderboard for every event, and they know that generates coin. And in theory, that's smart of them to do. But if they look at it on a per capita basis, they might fall behind. The only thing that's good for them is I think they made a template for this sort of thing where they can just run it. And they're trying to recover the fixed cost of making that template and the small variable cost that it takes to put that template up each time. And maybe they do it, but I think to recoup the entire cost of that might take longer in life than the game has. I mean, you know, everything else notwithstanding. The state of the game is shit. And they made it that way. And they know they made it that way. And I don't think they care. This isn't a strategy game anymore. There's no strategy. There's wallets. Even in the PvE side, even when we should be banding together and working as a team, and we do that to a certain extent, but you just can't do it this well. You need all the armors, you need the whole fleet, everything. You can't do that. And no amount of community pride or sense of togetherness is going to lower the difficulty on those raid targets. Kicks had to do that from their end because they saw the numbers drop and they realized they fucked up. Or maybe they just wanted the blitz money from the initial people that don't know any better and have no concept of learning. The banned bases that probably got their accounts back because they spent enough. Yeah, I fucking said it. Get wrecked, nerds. So yeah, it's real bad. I'm done. Someone else say something.
Well done. I can't argue with you on any part of that.
Oh, perfect timing. I actually got to go.
It just seems like any business is in business.
All the depressing things. Good luck. Have fun.
Any business is in business to make money. That's a given. But the way to go about doing it doesn't appear to me to be a real smart way to do it. I'd rather have more from less than a whole lot from one.
Well, it's
a little bit from a few than a whole lot from one. And it looks like they have the other opinion.
Successful companies.
You don't make money from people by turning them away from your product.
Exactly. Successful businesses, yeah, make their customers happy.
Correct.
Successful businesses make money by return business. Yeah. If you're if you're going to sting someone once, they're not likely to return back and, get stung again, are they?
Right.
And if you're continuously stinging them, they're not going to hang around, are they?
Nope.
Unless you play Battle Pirates.
Yeah, we're still there.
Yes. Stick like super glue, we do. And that's the
Well,
problem, I think.
have going for them is they have a community spirit here that kind of keeps some people together. And I'm convinced of that.
Oh, definitely.
Otherwise, they'd have been gone.
Yeah, long ago.
Yeah.
And that's why they did 2-year plan. They didn't realise. I mean, the communities kept the game running, not Kickside. You know,
It's nothing that they're doing. I honestly, truly believe that's
it's
keeping this
despite
game
what they've
solvent.
been doing.
It's
You know,
nothing that they're doing.
No, it's definitely the players that are keeping the game together at this moment in time. It's, meeting up with your friends after work, just going out and trying to have fun, but everything's so stacked with chores on chores on chores and so many events and whatnot. It's just overload and boring. And then you're not even hanging out. So half the time you just sit there and you'll just chat in alliance comms and not even hit targets. You're just like, hey, what's going on, bud? Just talk to your buddy who might be in Italy or, Holland or wherever you are,
Yeah. It's like going to the pub, but them not having any beer.
Right, like you don't have to drive. You can just sit in your house and you're at the pub chatting and doing whatever the else you want to do.
I'm gonna say probably quite a few of my lot are having beer, but if I know them, But yeah, it's still cheaper to drink indoors than it is in the pub. What you don't spend on the pub, you can throw a bit into Kickside. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah, it's the community. It's the people here that have kept us here for this long. I think if I wasn't in the Alliance, like if I dropped my tag, if I wasn't in the Alliance, I probably would have left this quite a few years ago. Because I wouldn't see any reason to carry on.
Yeah. I say, even though I'm getting, I think I'm getting accused of being a Kickside mole in YouTube chat, but it's all cool.
Mole, 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 mole.
Mole, mole, mole,
yeah. That's gonna be my new persona.
F.A. the mole.
Yeah. I mean, he spent most of his time on previous shows trying to capitalize words the whole time. So I'm, it's going to be fun, being the Kicks operative, even though they don't really like me. So,
you work undercover on both sides, eh?
Yeah. I'm a double agent.
Double agent.
You're
I'm
a
a double
mole.
agent, and neither side likes me. So that doesn't pay well, does it?
200 gold, I'll tell you where Hefe's base is.
Well, hit the one next to me,
No, don't do that. Oh, yeah.
Well, no. Well, Ben's also next to me, so yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I just said go ahead and do that.
I can find it on my Huawei phone. It tracks everything.
175, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I'm level 165 at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, do we have any parting words? We've been going on for 2 hours. I mean, I can post the link. Maybe Ford will get in and entertain us with his, Western Carolina accent. I sold my soul a long time ago, and I'm not sure how people listen to the show. I'm really curious, but yeah, it's funny. Okay, you're okay. Oh, it's Ewok. Okay, so now it makes way more sense. Yeah, and we're gonna, as being a Kickside insider and a mole, I'm gonna make sure there is no longer any Canadian skins that will ever show up ever again. So, just so you're aware of that, I have that kind of pool. And the last time I think we saw a Canadian skin was related to the Atlas. So, but does anybody have any parting?
Last time there was a UK skin as well.
Yeah, there's a bunch of skins. I got a couple of those back in the day.
All I'm going to say on the matter is blame Canada.
Just for the colors, just for the different color skins. I like the skins.
But
anyways, yeah, on the Pillage, I've been opening chests for the holes, and holy cow, I forgot. There's I was just going for the trophy case, like the ones I didn't have. But there's a lot of them that I forgot you need like 4 and 5 and 10 of, and I was like, damn, I've already opened 23 of them, and I still have yet to get the Devastator EMC or whatever, the Destroyer EMC, and I guess I'm gonna have to go through all 50, but whatever, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's not that bad for me. Some damage, but it's doable and repair and coin a little, and get some points and then take a break and go do something else. But yeah, I'm surprised I haven't hit yet. I'm like, damn, I'm already up to 23. I'm already halfway there, and I didn't get it.
See that, and you thought you could do it with 4.
I know. I was like, yeah, I'll get it in the first 4. Good luck with that. I forgot. Once these things started popping up, I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. I only have 1 of that.
My nephew got it on the first chest he opened.
You son of a bitch! That's awesome. Good for him.
I remember the first chest I opened.
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot her name now, yeah. Non-disclosure agreement, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It was a while ago. Probably probably all those issues, ran out with time. So,
give her a little hush money. He gave her a pack of wine coolers and sent her on her way. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Bartles and James, I think.
Yes, a Matilda Bay.
Yes. So, I think we've gone over 2 hours. So I think I've fulfilled my duty to the community and Kicks Eye, of course. Is there any parting words that anybody has? And I will post the link one last time in case anybody would like to join the after show. And leave you guys again until Wednesday, which we will know what the scorching, or what is it? The scorching turbine is.
Yeah. Sounds like it's for the Shrike.
It sounds like an engine to me. I don't know why people keep on saying it's for the Shrike. Explain.
Because it's a turbine.
Everywhere that people.
I'm just thinking because it's a sub, so a turbine, and it's going to have like something against like radioactive or something. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense on that one.
No, I agree with your thought. I was just trying to figure out what the basis.
Yeah, because of the turbine part. It's just it's kind of like a catchy word, and okay, the Shrike's a sub.
Yeah. All the new songs,
and there really hasn't been an escalation for the Shrike yet, so it just makes sense. We've already had 3 for the 8 Eradicator.
Yeah, because I mean, we need an escalation weapon for our unbuilt Shrikes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what it seems like it's going to be to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And TJ Richards, that's why I think it's an engine, but I'm just not sure what for. And the fact that they've increased the capacity for the resistors. Normally, when they make something this available, normally means it's about to end its lifespan. So yeah.
Well, that's a double sword right there because we were complaining about it last week and they hot fixed it and gave us more so we wouldn't have to pull it off of old shit. So, I mean, goddamn, be happy for a day. But I understand what you're saying. Once it is like totally available, it usually means it's almost on its way out and something else new is coming.
Okay. Well, nobody has anything else.
Actually,
I guess I'm going to end the show.
1 second.
Okay.
Everyone remember, we get an extra week of FM this month. Again.
Yeah, save those tokens.
And the rate is pushed back to the 13th, so you get an extra 6 days of build tokens.
Oh, I get 9 days of, in my chest every time.
Oh, that's because
you're an insider.
It's fun now being an insider.
You get the rainbow chest from Kickside, and it's full of fucking shit. It's like a pot of gold.
If I hit your base, I already got the strawberry shortcake, skin on mine. So you know when I hit you.
Yep.
It's all good.
I want that skin. Make it available for everybody for a price. I'll pay $50,000 for it or whatever. $50 million. I want that skin.
$50 million in what?
For the skin.
But
What
you said 50
what,
million, but I'm just looking
Like,
for a
points.
unit.
No. Points, like raid
Oh.
points or whatever. Points, whatever. Like if it's 50,000, 50 million. I don't give a shit. I want that skin, and I'm not gonna get it because of the leaderboard's fucking lopsided, and it's always the same top 6 teams. Cut those teams down to like a third, and then maybe it'll be a little bit more equal.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, in chat, as far as the female participants, do you like the skin? I know that High Lord loves it,
I love
but
it because it's silly. It's Starry Shortcake, like you said. It's just funny. It's just kind of goofy, but it's not doesn't affect anything. I like paint jobs.
okay. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it at that. I like paint jobs, and the link I will post for one last time in case anybody would like to join the after show. And
The Valentine skin.
What?
Oh, sorry, was answering someone.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to end the show at this point, and we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll have more information about whatever gets dropped to us. So good luck with Pillage, and if you're doing that TLC, even more luck. So
yeah.
good night, everybody, and we will see you in a couple of days.